text-to-voice synthesis provided by Vidnami. Why They Are Afraid and Why They Ought to Be. January 13, 2021 by Anna von Reitz. They are pirates. They are con artists. They are cannibals. They are reprehensible criminals, and they have been viciously suppressed since ancient times, in Babylon, in Greece, in Egypt, in India, in Carthage, in Rome, in Phoenicia, in Ireland, in Wales, in France, in Scotland, too. Their evil religion is universally abhorrent and has been universally condemned and suppressed for thousands of years, but because their chief stock in trade is the commodity called money, they have continued to ply their trade, and people have foolishly allowed the devotees of Mammon to push their self-created idols as things having value, when in fact, no value but gullibility and convenience is involved. Humanity has proven to be very simple-minded, and that has led to the bloom and bust history of the Babylonian Mystery Religion. We wise up and suppress the rats, and then, we forget. Money is so convenient. We produce our own for a while and all goes well, and then the merchants of money wheedle and coerce and blackmail and squeeze their way back into power, and everything predictably goes to hell again. Look at the history of the Federal Reserve. Concocted in a backroom meeting on Jekyll Island, Georgia, using the excuse that such an institution would be able to stabilize the banking industry and currency values and keep the banks on the straight and narrow. BWAHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHHThe Federal Reserve System could have done that and a great deal more. Could have. If it wasn't operated by crooks, for crooks, and on behalf of crooks from day one. It's like saying an infamous madam could become a righteous God-fearing woman and fearless leader of the PTA, a wonderful mother and faithful wife. Could. Surely. Could. In the same way, the Federal Reserve could have been a great institution and could have served noble purposes, but that was hardly in the makeup or history of the men promoting it, and nobody should be too surprised that the noble side of the Federal Reserve System was never explained to the general public. Explaining it to the general public would have meant that mere average Americans would have had remedy for the illegal and immoral profiteering of the Federal Reserve, and that was never the intention. The intention was for the perpetrators to commandeer the control of the banks and the U.S. Mint and the U.S. Treasury and the control of the domestic and international currencies, plus all the transfer systems related to each, and to also leave themselves a loophole by which they could exempt themselves from any private losses. So the madam returned to her wanton ways, left dear old Uncle Sam to take care of the 6 kids she abandoned, and skipped town with everything of value packed in a rucksack for offshore deposit in the middle of the night. Now all the chickens have come home to roost, the embezzlement and enslavement rackets, the impersonation scheme, the barratry practiced by the courts, the theft of our natural resources, the duplicitous, self-serving, substitution of our government by foreign powers, the grotesque breach of trust, the criminal malfeasance and misadministration of virtually all functions of our government, plus the banking and currency gambits, all of it. And they are afraid. They ought to be afraid. They deserve to be afraid. They are pumping incense into the skies and trying to protect their satellites from the righteous anger of the newly awakened national governments, actual governments that now realize that they have all been abused and cheated and undermined by these charlatans. They can sense another purge and suppression coming on, because the national governments are being roused to take action against them, and it is in the best interests of the national governments to do so. But there is another twist, something else embedded in their memories, that they don't like to think about, the prophecy of their final defeat. Their plot against humanity has been discovered and the fury of the primal creator has been unleashed, and, these people who worship the god of war, now know that the undefeated have been roused against them, right here on Earth. The name Guilleroi de Armentois du Lac may mean nothing to you, but it means something to them.